Good morning, everybody. Here's an interesting one. And first off, we have to give this man right here, Marc, some props. He drove this car from Washington, D.C. out here. Not just for me, but he's come a long way, and so we had to get him in the schedule, of course. Thanks for coming down, Marc.
Thanks.
Tell me about your car.
It's a 2013 X3 28i and 24-cylinder. I put a DINAN tune on it, a SuperSprint exhaust, bunch of visual effects.
Yeah, you got a really nice stripe package going on here. Well, what I found most interesting about this car was that it was a tuned 4-cylinder. I liked that 4-cylinder engine in the 328 when I drove it, and so I thought this would be interesting. And you've got paddle shifters. That's good.
Yeah.
Oop, let's do that off. Okay, so let's see how it drives. Have you been up in these canyons before?
I have, but not on this.
Well, there's no. What can we adjust here?
Sport.
We have. Okay, is Sport Plus worth doing? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
All right, let's try that anyway. And that's all that's adjustable, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see what the X3's got. Hey, how about that? It's got good torque.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. That's surprising. It sounds nice too. Oh, the steering is very tight. I haven't driven an X3 in probably 4 years. It corners very flat.
Because it has the adaptive suspension.
Oh, it does. That's excellent. What made you decide on an X3?
Well, when I was buying this car, it was either the 3 Series at the time, because it just came out in 2012, mid 2012 August. But I wanted the Touring, and I wanted the bigger engine, but they didn't bring out the bigger engine with the Touring. So the newest car in the 50 to 60,000 price range was this.
So how much is this? Like 55 grand?
55.
Yeah. Oh, it's stiff. Well, it's tall, obviously, but it corners pretty flat. This is an interesting corner. These are going to be some downhill, decreasing radius. What kind of tires are on this thing?
These are P0s.
Pirellis?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
275 in the rears and 245s in the front.
They're 275s in the rears? Wow. It's a lot of tire.
Well, they're 20 inches.
Hey, man, this thing, I never would have thought of an X3 as something that could be fun. Oh, boy. The traction control kicked in there under braking. That corner can be very hairy, obviously. But the steering is very direct. I mean, even compared to some of the sports cars I've driven recently, you don't have to turn the wheel very much at all to get it into that corner. And this is a very tight series of corners here on Las Flores. How was it on the road trip across the country?
So comfortable.
I imagine it was like nothing at all, right?
Yeah. Like I was doing 10 to 12 hours a day, and I was fine afterwards.
Well, the seats are very comfortable.
Yeah.
And BMW's MMI system is very good.
Definitely.
Yeah, this is a, oh no, we're gonna have to, I hope that Prius gets out of the way by the time we go back up the hill. This is an interesting road for this because it's very tight and very bumpy, especially right through here. And so, what does this thing weigh? It's gotta be 4,500 pounds or something, right?
42.
42, yeah. And amazingly enough, the X3 somehow manages to hide its weight very well. Is this the M Sport?
Yeah, the M Sport package.
Yeah. That suspension is it's working right now, but it's working, but it's working. You know what I mean? Wow. It doesn't look like I'm going very fast probably on this video because the speeds aren't high, but the back and forth of this X3 is I'm sorry, I'm getting over bronchitis. But this is sort of impressive. I mean, I know we're going downhill and this is tight. It'll really be interesting to find out how it does up the hill. Oh, slow truck. Hopefully he'll get out of our way.
Funny thing is that this tune is conservative.
Yeah, DINAN is usually quite conservative. They like longevity with their engines, you know?
That's why I have a friend who put a race chip, and he's making 3 330, 340.
Nice, but this is a warranted tune, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna spend 55 grand on a brand new car, you don't want to throw your warranty away, right? You know.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you, Mark, it's not bad. Surprisingly flat in the cornering. I mean, really surprising. I mean, I imagine, does this car kind of die around 85, 90 miles an hour? Is that about where it runs out of power?
Because of the turbos.
Yeah. And but at lower speeds, it's pretty torquey, you know? It does a pretty good job. Let's go back up the hill and let's see what she's got. Hopefully those slow movers will be out of our way by then.
Well, I was driving up to the Eisenhower Tunnel and it loved the altitude.
Do you not notice any power drop off at altitude?
A little bit, but nothing major.
Okay, uphill. So red line is at 6,500.
Yeah.
This is full throttle. Hey, I mean, look, this is it's no supercar, but that is more than enough power to have a good time with.
Definitely.
I think a lot of people overlook this 4-cylinder engine unnecessarily. I think if I was doing a daily driver, to be perfectly honest, I would probably go with this engine over the 6, especially because of how much more the 6 costs. If you get an X3 with the 6, don't you add like $7,000-8,000 to the price right away?
It's about, I'm guessing, yeah, maybe 4 or 5.
See if we can catch these bikes. if we can catch these bikes in an X3 right now, that's the sign of a good car. Yes. Dude, this car is surprising. It is not upset by anything. These bumps in the road, you can really stay on power or on brake, whatever. While these bikes have to be very careful here with all these road imperfections, I can just hammer right through them. What, are these bikes gonna let me buy? I'm in an X3. I mean, come on, like, you know what?
I guess they saw the X3 and said, "That's not a sports car."
I know, right? It happens sometimes. Sometimes you got to get lit by though, if you can't hang. So, since you have the smaller engine, what kind of fuel economy were you getting on your road trip? Was it good?
Well, I didn't check. I just kept as the average, but it doesn't do well in the city.
It really?
I have a heavy foot, of course. I average about like 16 to 17 in the city.
Really?
Yeah.
I would expect a little better than that. What about on the highway?
On the highway, you can get about 28.
28? Oh, that's okay. 28 is solid for an SUV on the highway. That's pretty good.
Well, the issue is it's a small engine, big car.
And it's the 8-speed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're geared high and plenty of overdrive.
Yeah, so in the city you're trying to it's stop go, and trying to move all the mass.
Yeah.
So.
I can see how that would happen. And you have a heavy foot.
Yeah.
Am I getting a point by?
I think so.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's an X3, you know, and it's a 4-cylinder X3. Wow, the sound it makes is just that air rushing.
Yeah.
And the exhaust, I mean, you know, frankly, I don't remember straight off the bat the comparison with the standard car, but it doesn't really sound that loud.
It's because it's only a rear muffler.
Oh, okay.
They did have a full system with from the downpipes all the way back, which it's hard to find parts for this car.
I can imagine. Does stuff off the 3 Series just fit or not really?
The downpipe won't fit.
That stinks.
The exhaust won't fit.
I mean, I've only seen a couple of tuned X3s, and one of them was on Rally North America last year, and that was the 6-cylinder one, and it was the second fastest car at the drag strip. That was the car that ran 11s, and it was very impressive.
Yeah, for the 6-cylinder you get more parts.
Of course.
But no one seems to want to cater to the 4-cylinder.
Dude, but I love the unloved though. That's why if you had hit me up and said that you have a 6-cylinder car, I might not have been as interested as with the 4-cylinder. This is an interesting car. There's so much. It sounds like it's like the Porsche Turbo. Just that air rushing jet engine-y sound,
Yeah.
which is cool. And then it's very refined actually. Not that I mean, for 55 grand, it better be refined, you know.
Yeah. The only downside to it, I think, is the creaks of the interior.
A lot of BMWs do that, don't they?
Yeah, but the new ones, they definitely fix that. And they added a few adjustments to the new ones.
Well, this is pretty impressive, dude. It's it's not what you'd expect. I thought it would be, you know, kind of sloppy, but it's not. It's not at all. It's very planted. I'm glad you spared some time for me on your trip. Thank you very much, Mark. Check out Mark's Wheelwell page to see and follow along with his X3. And I wouldn't have really thought about this as something that's fun to drive, but as it turns out, it totally is. So you can have a good time even in a 4-cylinder X3, as it turns out. Cool. Thanks, guys.